Hello and welcome. Welcome to your new life. Welcome to your new life after loss. Welcome to your new growth after loss. My name is Denise Deelwaard and I'm a widow. I lost my husband in 2009 really suddenly, and that changed my whole life. Everything in my life turned upside down. When we lose someone we love, when we lose a special person, we lose ourselves. We do. We lose ourselves. Whether it's your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, your child, we lose who we are. We lose our identity. And with that, we can remain stuck. I have so many of my clients ask me, Denise, how long am I going to feel like this? This was my biggest question when I lost Martin. I was seeing a therapist and I was seeing her every week, and we would talk about it and talk about how I was feeling and talk about the business that I had to shut down and talk about everything. Until one day I said to her, how long am I going to feel like this? It would have been about 6 or 8 months into my grief journey. And I said to her, how long am I going to feel like this? And she looked at me shocked and she said, Denise, you've just lost your husband. You're going to be like this for the next 5 to 7 years. Well, that was my wake-up call. I got into the car on the way home and I was hitting the steering wheel and I was yelling and I was screaming and I was using some choice 4-letter words that I won't use here. Just saying, I'm never going to accept that. I am not going to be feeling like this for the next 5 to 7 years. And that's what started my journey. That's where my new life began. Because I was shocked into reality that I could not continue living in my past. We want to live in our past. We don't want to let go, because letting go is so frigging hard. It really is. Letting go is not easy. But we also have a misconception about letting go. We seem to think, I did, and all my clients do as well, before we start working together. We seem to think that when we let go, so we're holding on to the pain, we're holding on to the love, we're holding on to the grief, we're holding on to the sadness, we're holding on to that loss. And we think, if I'm going to let go, then what? I'm in free fall. Then what? Am I going to forget about my loved one? Am I going to become somebody I don't want to be? Am I going to fall into a hole? There's all these unknowns. But here's the thing. Grief doesn't heal. You heal. Yeah. Grief never heals. You know, April will be 16 years since Martin passed away. He passed away in 2009. And man, when I look over my life over the last 16 years, so much has changed. So much has happened. I've changed. I've grown. I've become a different person. I had somebody say to me a little while ago, if Martin had to walk through the door tomorrow, would you want him back? And I said no, because he wouldn't want me. You see, when we, and I know that might sound, oh my goodness, Denise, don't you love your husband anymore? I absolutely do. But here's the thing. He wouldn't want me who I am today, because who I am today is not who I was 16 years ago. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So the only constant in life is change. The only constant in life is change. We cannot stop change. We just cannot stop change. We also need to go with the change. We need to flow with the change. When we try and hang on to our past, we stop our future growth. Grief and loss is your biggest opportunity for personal growth. It really is. Who are you becoming now? Who am I now? That was my biggest question. So many people that I work with say to me, Denise, I don't know who I am now. You know, there's Deb that lost her teenage daughter, very suddenly. Her teenage daughter was away at school, so she wasn't even at home. She had no idea. You know, the school rang to say that her daughter was sick, but she would be okay. And the next call she got was to say that her daughter had passed away. You can imagine how that sent her into a spiral. But her biggest question to me was, Denise, who am I now? She had other children. She had her husband to fall back on. She had a whole family unit there. But the family unit was all grieving. Who can relate to that? You don't want, you know, as a mother, if you're a mother that's lost a child, how hard is it for you to actually start loving you and putting you first? I did it when Martin passed away. I didn't lose a child, I lost my husband, but my children lost their father. So I pretended that I was okay when I was with them. I'm okay, it's all right, no, I'm fine. How are you guys doing? What are you feeling? Oh my goodness, yes, I know, it's so sad. And I don't mean to minimize that, but we don't put ourselves first. We put everybody else around us first. And that's okay. But till it's not okay. Till it's not okay. Because there is no ending time for grief. And I said that slowly because there is no time frame for grief. Grief is an emotion. Grief is love. Grief is connection. We've lost that connection. So we will always feel that loss of connection. We will always feel that emptiness. We will always feel that loneliness. But it's what we do with those emotions that makes the difference, that creates your next step, that creates you moving forward. When we give everything a meaning. Everything in our life we give a meaning. We are meaning-making machines. So what are you making your loss mean? That's the biggest question, is what are you making your loss mean? Are you making it mean that you're lonely, that you're sad, that grief is never going to heal, that you're going to feel like this for the rest of your life? Or are you making it mean that you're going to celebrate the love, you're going to celebrate the life you shared together, and you're going to move forward? Where are you in your grief journey? Are you ready to embrace your new life? Because here's the thing, your loved one doesn't want you to be sad. Your loved one doesn't want to see you crying. If the roles were reversed, would you want that to be the case? Would you want to look down and see your loved one crying every day for year in and year out? I know people that haven't moved forward, and that creates complicated grief, creates depression, creates sickness, creates mental gymnastics in your mind as you're playing around, and depression, and it's not fair, and life is not fair, and you go down that deep pit of grief. We have to pull ourselves out of that, and only we can do that. Only we can do that. We cannot sometimes do that on our own. Sometimes we need to put our hand up and say, excuse me, I need help. What do I do? Now, I did that. I put my hand up and I said, I need help. And I saw my psychologist until she could no longer help me, because I needed more than that. You see, to heal our grief, we're not healing our grief, we're healing ourselves. How long is it going to take to heal my grief? How long is a piece of string? Because grief never heals, you do. So it really takes as long as you take to step into your new life. It takes as long as you take to make that decision. It takes as long as you take to say, this is it. Draw a line in the sand. I'm going to start healing me. And that is personal growth. It is such loss and grief is such an opportunity to grow personally. It really is. I didn't realize that when Martin passed away. I really didn't. My clients don't realize that. I have so many clients that say to me, Denise, why didn't they teach this stuff in school? Wow. I even had one client that said to me, if I had known this stuff before I met my husband, I would never have married him. She had a very, very, very up and down marriage. She loved her husband, but in his passing, she found herself. She found who she was. She found how to help others move forward in grief. We think that we are the only ones that feel this way. We think, oh my goodness, I'm the only one. I'll go and join a group. And that's the biggest mistake we can make. It really is. We go and join a group of a whole lot of other people that are grieving just where we are. And nobody can lift anybody up. All you get when you join a group is we get confirmation that we're not alone. And we get confirmation that, oh my goodness, somebody else's problem and grief is worse than mine. Okay, so I feel a little bit better now. But it's not the transformation. The only transformation we can ever have is to grow through our grief, to become a new person. Now, what is it to become a new person? It's not becoming somebody you don't know. It's becoming who you are already, because you have all the answers inside of you. You know who you are, but you are buried beneath all the pain, beneath all that heartache. You are buried. And it's uncovering all of those layers. Layer by layer by layer by layer. That creates your healing. Your healing, not your grief healing. Because when you heal, your grief heals. Does that make sense? Pop a yes or no in the comments if that makes sense to you. So it's a journey. After we lose the love of our life, or we lose a child, we lose our person, that life has ended and we start a new life. So many parents split up after they lose a child. Why is that? Why do so many parents and families split after they lose a child? They split because they don't give each other the time and the space to grieve. So I'm going to cover that in my next video. I'm doing a series of videos. So this is the first series of how long does grief take. My next video in the series, my video number 2, is going to be on just that. Why do families split after grief? And how to stop that. It's been amazing to have you here today. And please subscribe to the channel, because so that the channel can grow, and that you can like it and tick it and do all that stuff, so that you can get notified when I have my trainings. It's been wonderful being here with you today, and if you have any questions or anything, pop them down below. All my links on how to contact me are in the show notes. If you want to book a call with me, book a call with me. We can have a chat. It's a free call. Also, if you want to help others,